1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, come on up. Okay, you can be the atmosphere. You can be the producers. You are the fossil fuel deposits.
Oh, I'm sorry, you told me before.
You are a rock. And there are your temperatures. Okay. If you need to move back to Bella, you need to go back to the Okay, so I'll tell you when to start here in a second. Ready, Bella?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, go ahead and start.
Start.
You hit the start button, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so we're going to show you how carbon travels here. And basically you can see they all have little baggies. So each little pom-pom is going to represent 1 ton of carbon. So atmosphere, which is Savannah, has 3. Let's go ahead and hold it up. The producers has 3. Soil has 6. Where's our soil?
That's me.
Okay, soil has 6. Now our rock, I couldn't represent this because it's a lot, so I just did a big bag. Rock is 105,000. Okay, so keep in mind that rock has a lot of carbon. Pretend that bag is 105,000. That would be really hard for me to get. And then our fossil fuel, go ahead, Connor, has 15. So that kind of shows you the distribution of carbon that we're going to see here. So in order to pass these along, we're going to ask you guys some questions, and it's going to just go right down your sheet here. So how do organisms in terrestrial ecosystems acquire carbon? Okay, let's start with plants. How do plants get carbon? Yes. Photosynthesis. There's the answer to question 1. Okay? Plants are going to be the producers, and they're going to get their carbon dioxide from photosynthesis. Okay? So let's have our producer. Well, we'll do the next one. Who needs to give a pom-pom away to represent this process?
Soil.
Now, where do we get the CO2? Where do the plants get the CO2 from?
Atmosphere.
The atmosphere. Okay, so atmosphere. Kelton and Connor, go ahead and switch spots. Okay, we won't pass yet. We'll do it here in a second. But basically, the producer is going to take 1 pom-pom from the atmosphere because plants get CO2 from the atmosphere. Okay, so go ahead and give it back to her real quick. We're going to go through all of them first, and then we'll show what one cycle looks like because this is happening at the same time. Okay, does that make sense to everyone? Okay, let's talk about the next one. So, how do consumers obtain carbon then? What do you think?
By
Yes. By eating producers, right? Okay, so we don't have that on here, but that's another one you can see. Animals are going to eat plants or other consumers, and that's how they get our carbon. That's how we get our carbon. Okay? All right. Let's see. Or what's another way that consumers acquire carbon-containing molecules by eating plants or other animals? Both plants and animals utilize these molecules for energy. And then what do animals do?
breathe out.
What do we do with CO2? We release CO2 through what process?
Respiration.
Respiration. Okay, so where does the carbon go when a plant or animal dies? Into the soil, right? Okay, so in this example, the producer will give 1 ton of carbon to the soil. Okay, so Alex, why don't you go stand next to Kelton? We'll just move down here. Okay, so that's going to be our step. The producer is going to take 1 from the atmosphere, and the producer is going to pass it down to the soil. And it represents decomposition. Okay, it's going to die, it's going to decompose, and CO2 is going to be released into the atmosphere. Okay, so we kind of already said who's going to give it to you. This is the person that you'll pass to during this role play. Okay, next, how do terrestrial ecosystems release most of the carbon? We kind of just talked about that. How do we release carbon? Respiration. You can see here, decomposition, okay, and plant and animal respiration. Okay, we go through respiration. So then, who needs to get the pom-pom away to represent this process if we're doing decomposition? Where is Kelton going to pass this? Not fossil fuels. If something's decomposing, it's being released into the atmosphere. okay? So, Alex is going to pass one of his ton of carbon to who? Savannah, okay? Does everyone know their roles? Yes, soil is going to give it to the atmosphere to represent decomposition. Okay, so I know we have some people left out. We're going to get to them in a second. Here's what I want you to do. I want us to represent a cycle. So Savannah is going to pass to Kelton. Kelton's going to pass to Alex. Alex is going to pass to Savannah, all at the same time. Okay, so take all three of your out. Everyone should have 3. Well, so I have 6. Okay, then we're just going to pass it for a few rounds. Ready, go. It's happening at the same time. Keep going. Okay, go ahead and stop. Alex, I think you should have passed one.
There you go.
Okay, basically the idea, guys, is this is happening at the same time, and they should have the exact same number, right? If it's naturally going through the cycle, we have Savannah should have 3, Kelton should have 3, and Alex should have 6. Does that make sense to everyone? This is a natural cycle. Producers are going through photosynthesis, animals are going through respiration, and we're also showing decomposition. So why didn't we use rock and fossil fuels? What do you think? Any guesses? Why don't we use rock and fossil fuels? Okay. Well, some are natural, but they represent long term. This is happening all the time. Rock and fossil fuel are going to represent long term, which I think is one of your questions there. They're more about long term cycling of carbon. So thousands, hundreds of thousands of years is what we're going to see for this. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of read this a little bit. Fossil fuels are derived from dead plants that have been buried underground for long periods of time. They would remain there for millions of years if it weren't for extraction by humans for energy. Okay, so fossil fuel had a lot of carbon, about 15 ton we talked about. It would all stay there and we'd have that carbon and it wouldn't be released into the atmosphere unless it was for humans. Okay, underground rocks, which is Avery here, provide a large reservoir of carbon holding on to carbon for millions of years only to be released to the atmosphere during a volcanic eruption. Okay, so we store a lot of carbon within the rocks and it does get released during volcanic eruption. Okay, so I need 2 more volunteers.
Yeah, let's go there.
Here we go.
Can I hear Ruth?
2 more.
Yeah, babe,
Really?
come on.
Come on,
Karen?
guys.
Babe, you got this.
Okay, Karen, you're going to be our fossil fuel
You were
consumer.
born for this screen.
And Faith, come on.
Oh!
Okay, you're going to represent deforestation. Okay. Alright, so fossil fuel consumer, which we have, Karen's going to be our fossil fuel consumer. Someone give me an example of something that consumes fossil fuels. Humans, what do we do to consume fossil fuels? Machines, factories, driving, right? A car or a bus is going to use fossil fuels. Okay? So what's the connection between fossil fuels and CO2?
Fossil fuels create CO2 or give carbon emissions.
Right, so when we use these fossil fuels, we're burning the CO2, and where does that CO2 go?
Atmosphere.
Into the atmosphere. Okay, so fossil fuel consumer, Karen, when we do this next step, you are going to take 3 pom-poms from the fossil fuel deposit and give it to the atmosphere, okay, here in a second. So you guys are all still going to do your same thing over there, Savannah, Kelton, and Alex. But this time, Karen's going to take 3 from the fossil fuel deposit, and she's going to give it to the atmosphere. Not yet. We got to get our other stuff next. Okay, so that's who you'll pass to. Now give me an example of an activity that leads to deforestation. Logging. Can you tell me what logging is? Cutting down trees. Okay, we want to build a new school, or we want to build a mall, so we cut down and completely get rid of the entire area. We cut down trees. Okay, when we do this, we're cutting down plants, we're cutting down trees. Okay, who is the deforestation person going to be taking from? Who said it? The producer. And where's that CO2 going to go?
Atmosphere.
To the atmosphere, right? Okay, so the person's going to take one pom-pom from the producer and give it to the atmosphere person. Okay? So does everyone know their role? Savannah, who are you passing to?
Helping.
Kelton, who are you passing to?
Me.
Alex, who are you passing to?
Savannah.
Karen, who are you taking from?
Hunter.
And who are you passing to?
Fair.
And Faith, who are you taking from? Kelton, and who are you giving it to? Savannah. Okay, so you two need to move down, and here in a second, we're going to go through this process. Karen and Faith, are gonna move down. Avery and Connie can speak down a little more. Okay. Go ahead and go. And keep going.
Oh my gosh,
This is
Savannah.
multiple cycles.
I'll keep giving her 3.
Yep, keep giving her 3. We're burning lots of fossil fuels. We gotta get to school, we gotta drive our car, we gotta fly some airplanes, we're just up some factories.
This is fun. I don't have to 4. Down there now.
Okay, go ahead and stop. What's happening?
I just what I'm saying.
Atmosphere's getting a lot.
The atmosphere is getting a lot, right? What happened to the plants?
I get all my stuff taken away.
Yeah, we're out of luck, right? We cut down the plants, all the CO2 remained in the atmosphere. A lot of problems there, okay? So let's give our volunteers a hand.
Thank you.
If you guys will make sure you have the same number of pom-poms in your bags, then you can set them on the table and take a
yeah.
Should I keep recording?
Yeah, you can stop it.